Welcome back into the Mid Norfolk garden. We're now into August, and these lemon trees, which we grow in pots, overwinter in the conservatory over the period between October and the last frosts in May. But during the summer they sit out here on this area of hard standing, and you can see they're growing away quite nicely, still putting on quite a bit of fresh growth. If I just come in and show you some of these new shoots. The new shoots tend to be sort of ready. Still some flower bud coming on these. This particular one's got a little bit of yellowing on some of the leaves, the older leaves and the leaves that have formed earlier in the season, which is an indicator that they probably need a feed, and we have been feeding them periodically over the summer. Whenever we water, we tend to put a mild liquid feed in with the water to try and keep these in growth during the summer period. And as you can see here, the fruits at various stages of formation, and older fruit from probably last season, and then young fruit and a fertilized flower that's just forming the fresh fruit for next year. These will take anywhere between 12 months and 18 months to form and ripen, and then they will sit on the bush quite well until you're ready to use them. They tend not to drop, but they do lose their juiciness the longer you leave them on the trees. Difference between the varieties we've got here, and I'm not certain on the specific strain or type of lemon. These have all been bought over a period of years from markets, flower auctions and garden centres, and they're not always labelled. The classic one is Mayer's lemon, but the shape and size of the lemons that we get on these is very variable, so I'm pretty confident these aren't all the same variety. And this one's got a much more open habit, but you can see at this time of year, again, we've got some young fruit forming on this, but there's also some dieback on this tree. It's not a bad idea to come in here and to remove any diseased or dying back wood that you find on these trees at this time. We're hoping to leave these trees out now until late September or even into October if we can get away with it. Now, I've been regularly checking these for scale insect, and these are pretty good. I've gone over them again today, and I really can't find anything other than the tiniest of little scale insects on these. But a good indicator at this time of year, once you've got these trees outside, if you have scale, is to look for black ants, and you can follow the ants along the stems, and they will show you exactly where you've got scale insects, because they'll be milking them over the summer. They'll have found them all by now, and if your trees have any scale insects on them, you really do need to look at our videos and follow the advice on getting those removed. There's no insecticides or chemical treatments that'll do it for you, I'm afraid. It is good old-fashioned physical pick and squash to remove the scale insects from these trees. But if you can do that, then you will be rewarded with much healthier growth and a good crop of lemons, hopefully coming later in the season on these trees. So I'm going to crack on and give them a liquid feed, which I've got here ready to go on. Now, the pots are quite wet because we've had a downpour here this afternoon, but I've got a 2-gallon watering can here which I've made up with a proprietary tomato feed, and we'll be applying that until they're seeping out from the bottom of the pots. Really do give them a good drench every time we water them, and then they'll be growing on here for the rest of the season. Still got another at least 2 months, ideally 2.5, before we have to bring these back inside for the winter period.